What up, sunshine? I am popping on real quick because I want to talk about one of the biggest, most useful tools I have learned over the years for business. And I'm going to preface this by saying I did not actually learn this with the intent of being in business or doing anything like that. So 5 years ago, I started on a pretty intense personal development journey. And not personal development in the sense of like, let me improve my skills, but I had a mental breakdown. I had a lot of things going on in my life and I lost it. So I actually ended up taking a 3-month leave of absence from work and started therapy, started a lot of holistic healing and looking into things. 5 years ago. 3 years ago, I started my business. And by far, one of, if not the, honestly, most beneficial tools that I have learned is not from a coach, was not from a business course, was not from some program. It was from my therapist. And it was how to start understanding what's going on inside. So prior to my leave of absence and digging into all of the things that were behind my perfectionism, my pretty severe anger issues, and a lot of other things, I would just push through. I would just force it. I would push it through. I would get it done, right? I would hunker down and I'd get it done. And I was so tightly wound that anything that didn't go according to plan was very much likely to be that thing that just like pissed me off and tipped me over the edge. I was not always fun to work with. I was not fun to work with. Let's just leave it at that. I was not always the most fun. But when I started to do the inner work of getting to understand what was causing, what was the root of that perfectionism, what was the root of being so tightly wound that the smallest thing would derail my entire day and I wasn't able to come back from it. When I started to do nervous system regulation work, when I started to do that, all of that inner work, right, that healing, I started to be able to understand and give myself more grace, to be a little bit more patient with people around me. No one in my life will say that I'm an incredibly patient person. I don't think that will ever change, but I'm not so impatient that I'm a bitch, right? Like we went from that to a little bit closer to the middle. But the reason I share this with you is earlier today, I had a big plan that I was going to record like 3 or 4 different videos that I'd schedule out over the next week or so to go on my feed, to go in emails, to go on a couple different platforms within social media, on my YouTube channel, like just had a couple of big ideas that I wanted to get recorded that would then go out and hit a lot of different distribution channels that would really cover a lot of ground for me over the next few weeks. But my development was doing a lot of construction. So much construction that there wasn't really an opportunity for me to record anywhere in my house without having to like close all the windows, turn on the air conditioning, deal with the dogs. Like it wasn't happening today. And Chrissy 5 years ago would have lost her shit. Like would have straight up just lost her mind because my plan was to get so much recorded today that I wouldn't have to worry about creating any more content for like 4 different platforms, 4 different distribution channels for the next couple of weeks. There was a lot of stuff that I wanted to get done today. And by not being able to record without a bunch of background noise, without being constantly interrupted by my dogs barking at the construction people or the construction trucks driving by and backing up and the beeping and all these things, I would have lost my mind. But because I have done the inner work and continue to do the inner work of understanding why I was so frustrated, understanding that part of my brain told me that if I didn't record what I wanted to today, that I wouldn't be on schedule, that I would be behind, and that being behind my schedule that I made up 4 days ago meant that I was failing. But by being able to take a step back to remove myself from that spiraling train of chaotic thought, I'm able to now see it for what it is and realize, okay, so I didn't get my stuff recorded today. That's okay. I was instead able to, I took a break, right? Like I played with my dogs for a couple minutes. I made funny faces, took some of the anxiety out of my body, and I was able to reframe. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, I can create all this new content, I actually instead spent almost 2 hours repurposing content that I already had. Still covering my bases, still getting a lot of work done, but reframed it from oh my God, why is this happening to me? Construction, noise, into, okay, this isn't the day for recording, and I can still get something else done. And I can still feel really good about the work that is getting done because it's still really high value. It's still really good quality. And I get to feel good about it. If I had continued to, I didn't realize how close I was to the camera. If I had continued to show up and try and record and go, which I did do. Like I did see if I could move to a different room in my house and not have all the background noise, but I got more and more frustrated. And when we don't do the inner work, when we don't take time to remove ourselves from the situation, to understand what is going on, we just keep perpetuating the cycle. When you don't remove yourself from the situation and go, hey, this is not actually life and death. This is not worth me being this worked up and this angry and this frustrated over something. What is really going on? Was it that there were 20,000 different construction trucks outside? A little bit, sure. That was very frustrating. But that's not actually why I got so upset and so frustrated. I got so upset and so frustrated because my brain was telling me that if I don't stay on schedule, then I'm a failure. And I know I'm not the only one with that story, but I'm actively working on rewriting that. And it's something that I've actively been working on for a while now, right? It's that fear of failure. It's that fear of not being enough that most of us have. And it comes up in different ways. But I wanted to pop on real quick tonight before more noise, right? My neighbors are taking the trash bins down to the street, so the dogs are going nuts. All the dogs in the neighborhood are going nuts. But I wanted to pop on and talk a little bit about this and share about it too, that I have a bunch of strategy skills. I have worked with some amazing coaches. I've been in some incredible containers, and I've learned so much over the years, from corporate all the way up through now, right? But at the end of the day, the strategies are not my saving graces. And my bet is the strategies are not your saving graces either. The strategies are helpful, are important, absolutely, right? I'm a business coach. I absolutely coach my clients on creating good strategies. But that's not the saving grace. The saving grace, the thing that really is just critical, right? Absolutely necessary for every entrepreneur, for every business owner, for every human being. It's not strategy. It's not a tool. It's the ability to go inward. So I guess kind of it is a tool, but it's not a strategy. It is doing the inner work. It is going in, not out, not listening to everybody else, not looking at everything that's out here. It's putting the focus back on us. It's turning off our ears, turning off our eyes. It's putting the focus back on us, understanding what's going on inside of us, right? Understanding that story for me in this example of feeling like a failure, feeling like I'm not enough, right? It's the inner work. It's the dedication and the commitment to understanding ourselves, to honoring ourselves and to working for ourselves that will be your saving grace. The strategies, the tech, all of that is helpful. But at the end of the day, if you are so tightly wound that one thing being out of sorts is derailing your entire day, I highly encourage you to stop focusing on everything out here and to go inward and understand why that is. Whether that is through therapy, whether that is through nervous system regulation, whether that is through a mindset coach, find somebody who can support you in that. Whether that's through journaling, maybe you don't need a support person. Maybe you just need some time, right? But do the inner work. The inner work is more important than the strategy. The inner work of knowing who you are, committing to yourself, honoring yourself, getting to know yourself, right? It's that getting to know yourself. It's that coming home to who you are and allowing that to be enough. It doesn't have to be the strategy. It gets to be about you. So I wanted to come on and just share that very timely video. It happened earlier today. And to talk more around it, I shared it briefly in my stories. But I wanted to come on and really kind of go a little bit deeper into exactly what that story was in my brain, because again, I know that I'm not alone here, and to help normalize it, and also to share with you the tool that by and far has been my biggest supporter in that. It's not finding a strategy to be more stringent or strict with my time. It's not finding a tech tool to help me better organize. It's those are good, right? Those are helpful, good things to have, but that's not actually the thing that keeps me sane. The thing that keeps me sane is, well, multiple things, but the thing right now that we're talking about, let's stay focused. The thing that keeps me sane is knowing who I am and being able to detach in a really healthy way to understand what operating system is running the show and to choose better, to choose anew. If you have any questions on this, or if you feel like this is something that you want to talk more about, I would love to have a conversation. Just send me a DM. Let's chat about this, because there is so much mindset, so much that we can trip our own selves up with based on old, outdated, unhelpful, not supportive operating systems. And again, like I said, this strategy, there is no strategy in this world that can pull you out of a shitty mindset. You might be able to hustle and push to get something done, but in the long run, sustainably, there is nothing out there, right, that can pull you out of a really unsupportive operating system. So I hope this story helped. If you've got any questions, like I said, stick them in the comment box, or stick them in the captions, comments, or send me a DM. Also, I'm going to throw in a quick plug here. This is a lot of the work that I do with my clients inside the Elevate membership. That membership is all about understanding who you are, right? Our 3 pillars of the Elevate membership are connection to self, expansion of self, and connection to community, so that we can start to understand those operating systems going on in the background, so that we can start to change them, to challenge them, to make them more supportive in a community of other entrepreneurs who understand what you're going through, because this can be really lonely. And when you start to also do all of the inner work, plus all of the outer work, plus all of just the work, it can feel really overwhelming. So if you are interested, you can check out the link in my bio for the Elevate membership. It is monthly. We've got a bunch of calls. We have a private Facebook community. We've got lots of goodies. And again, just send me a DM.